Hello there, fellas and ladies. Welcome back to Goodfellas Garage. And today I'm going to be working on our 2011 Maserati GranTurismo that we have purchased not too long ago. This is our first official Goodfellas Garage flip. Before I can get this car ready for sale, I have to do some cleaning and I have to do some detailing in the interior. The problem with spaghetti cars, as I like to call them, the Italian cars, is that they suffer from something called sticky buttons. It's not only an issue with Italian cars, but it's mostly prominent with Maseratis, Lamborghinis, Ferraris. It also appears on some of the older, American cars and German cars as well. The problem is that some of the surfaces are covered in some type of vinyl dye that after certain time, especially in Florida and in our heat, turns sticky. So the paint starts to peel off and it becomes disgusting and you have to remove it. So I'm gonna be doing that today, and there are two ways of doing that. There's the right way and there's the wrong way, and the right way of doing it is I have to take up most of the interior and take all these pieces off so I can take them home and clean them properly. Alrighty, so as you can see, these surfaces right here, they have some type of vinyl paint that is becomes sticky after a while. This car has only 11,000 original miles, and it went bad. So it's a Florida car, so Florida sun, all this stuff is sticky here. All these vents, the steering wheel cover, the steering column cover, so all of that has to be taken apart. Now the only thing that I'm not going to remove this piece right here, because in order to do this, I have to take apart the entire front portion of the dash, including the center console. All of this has to come out because there are bolts everywhere. And the problem with this piece is that it's not attached with clips because, Maserati is a fancy brand, so they attached it with screws and bolts that are behind this panel. And I just don't want to take apart the entire interior because, everything is expensive. It's a Maserati, so, you break something and it's thousands of dollars. So I don't want to do that. So what I'll do is I'll carefully mask the screen, and then I will remove this paint from here. But this piece is easily removable. As you can see, it has these two little holes on each side. It's like the old Fords and GM cars. They use these little forks. You stick them in here and this comes out. So let's get to work. God, what a pain in the ass this was. Whew. So fellas, what I use to clean off these sticky buttons or the sticky paint off of the surfaces is something that might be surprising to some of you. I like to use just your regular ammonia. It's pure ammonia, and it works very well. You can buy this for like $4 or $5 at any grocery store or Home Depot, and it works very, very well. It works on surfaces that the paint is already lifting off, and it cleans it with ease without the need of scrubbing. But some of the more stubborn surfaces will require alcohol or a paint thinner. Now, if you're going to be using alcohol or paint thinner in the car without removing any of the pieces, you have to be extremely careful to tape up everything that you don't want to be damaged, because alcohol and paint thinner will strip everything. It will destroy everything around whatever you're trying to do, and especially in a car like this with leather. Everything is leather here, and it's an Italian car. Everything's fragile, so you gotta be very, very careful. I'm gonna try the ammonia first and see if it works, and then if it doesn't, then we'll move to something a little bit stronger. Okay. so I cleaned all the gooey stuff off of this piece. What you end up with is this shiny plastic, but it's you know, obviously there's no paint on it, so it looks a little bit weird. So I'm gonna hit it with some vinyl paint and match it up. So let's get to it. Alrighty, so now that I took off this panel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this face panel, the plastic piece, and I will clean it and I will shoot it with some vinyl dye and put it back together. It's held by two tiny Torx screws. And there's one here under the warranty sticker. I'm not really worried about warranty on this car because it's too old. There's two tabs on the bottom of it, and I think it should just lift off. There we go. I'm gonna remove this board, so hopefully this whole thing just pops out, so I just have the panel. Probably a good idea to take a picture of where all the buttons are. Alright, so these buttons need to be pulled out from the front. There's little tabbies here, so you can just do it with your fingernail or a small screwdriver. This big button has a lever in it, so just pry it up. See if I can pop this Maserati logo out. If not, then I'll just tape it. Perfect. It's held by double-sided tape. It's made out of metal. Woo! Great, I don't have to tape it. Perfect. Look at this. Let's clean this garbage out and spray it. Well, here's the radio piece. This was a complete nightmare to clean up. My ammonia trick didn't work. It worked on every other car but this one, so I actually had to use paint thinner and soak this thing in paint thinner, and there's all these little, you know, holes and crevices. It's a pain in the butt, so I had to sand it down. And now hopefully I'm gonna spray it with some SEM paint, some vinyl paint, and hopefully it'll look as good as new. So while that paint is drying, I'm gonna remove these vents and the clock so I can paint this piece. Alright, so this piece is all painted, it's ready to go. I will assemble this in a few. I'll just let it dry a little bit more. But now what I have to do is I have to take care of these vents because everything here is sticky to the touch. So what I have to do is remove each one of those ribs one by one, clean it, strip it, paint it. So here's the funny part. The vents on the inside are not made out of sticky stuff, okay? The vents on the outside, the ones that you touch, are made out of sticky paint. So go figure. Alrighty, fellas, I am on day 3 of this sticky button saga. So I am probably about halfway through. I disassembled pretty much everything that needed to be painted and cleaned up. So I will end this video here because there's just way too much stuff to put into a 10-minute video. So I'll make a part 2 where, you know, I put everything back together. Most of the pieces have been already stripped, cleaned, painted, and they're just drying. I'm just waiting to reassemble everything. So stick around for part 2. I should be able to upload it in the next couple days.